Morning everyone, hope you had a good weekend. We're going to do a big project today and I'm hoping that we can start and finish it all in one day. And that is replacing our steering cables. So while doing all of our bulkhead repairs, I noticed that the stainless steel steering cables they'd gone a bit corroded and rusty, and a couple of the strands of stainless were actually starting to break away. So that's not okay. They need replacing, but we're replacing them with dyneema. So I've bought some 7mm dyneema line. So the first thing we have to do is pull out this cabinet here. I've had this out so many times because we did the whole bulkhead repair under there, and that'll give us access to the sheaves, and with that we'll be able to do the replacement. Alright guys, so we got the cabinet out. You can see all the glass work we did. This bulkhead was completely broken under here, so we've reinforced it. There's 5 layers of epoxy and 1708 glass through there. Reinforced all of this down and tabbed it all into the hull. So now we have access to these sheaves, and there's another pair of sheaves here, and then it goes from here up to the helm. But one thing we noticed when we straightened the boat, because this broke and the whole boat sagged down, these steering cables are extremely loose now. So these cables, look at that one. These cables were extremely tight, and now that the boat's straight, there's so much slack in them. But I went on the Lagoon group on Facebook to see if anyone had replaced these before, and I found a surprisingly large number of people have replaced these cables, and some of them were replacing them after 4 years, 5 years. This is stainless steel cables, so these shouldn't be snapping or breaking. So there definitely could be a connection between a lot of people's cables snapping and the bulkhead issue on these boats, because it just doesn't make sense for something like this, which has the force of the rudders, basically, this is all that they're doing, to be snapping so early. We're just going to replace them with dyneema line so that they are actually stronger than this. Okay, here we go guys. Then the cables come to the sheaves here. We're in the inside the engine room. Tom's about to open up that engine room. There you go. And the cable comes here, and it comes to this connection point here. And it's an adjustable rod, which is swaged onto the stainless steel cable. We're going to reuse this rod because it's a really nice little setup. Allows for a few inches of adjustment once it's all tight. So what we have to do is cut the cable around here, and we're going to loop it back on itself with a hard thimble, and that's going to be the way that we connect to this adjustment rod. There we go. I've just taped up the ends to stop it from fraying too much. But now we are going to wrap it around our stainless steel thimble. They say never straddle a dead horse. Well, this bitter end here is our dead end, and this is our saddle. So we never want to saddle that side. We want to saddle it from this side so that the U-bolt side is on there. Just thread a couple of these on loosely. There we go, starting to come together. There we go, 2 down, 1 more to go. There we go guys. Now we're going to install these, and we're going to install them right at the end of the thread, so that if we have to adjust it, it's more than likely going to be tensioning it. We have all of that room to tension this new dyneema steering cable. Okay, here at the helm, what we have here is a chain on a sprocket here, and that goes down and it connects to the old stainless steel cables. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull those up, and we're going to splice our dyneema onto that chain, and then we're going to use the existing cables to thread our dyneema down through the sheaves back to the tie bar. So just before we pull the cable up towards the helm to splice on our new dyneema, I just put a little safety loop on the end of the cable to a line which is tied back to the rudder stock, so that we can't pull this cable through this bulkhead here, through this wall. If it goes through there, we got a big problem. Don't want to drop this chain either. Now we're going to get some safety line again, tie it to these so that they can't fall down, Then we're going to take these clips off, take that end link of the chain off, and we're going to splice the line to that link. There we go, our cable is now free. So I'm just going to mark A and B where the splice is going to meet. It's right here and right there. So here we go, here's our starting point. So we're going to go through the center of this.
Can I have the permit to come on board?
Nah, I'm splicing, I don't want you to watch. Here we go.
It looks.
Yes, new steering cable. Second one through here. Separate a little bit, straight through the middle. So that's the center. Loop through there. So we want to turn this one inside out. There's far better videos on YouTube about how to do this, guys, so I'm not going to even pretend that I'm an expert. So that is now inverted. So this is the hard part. We've got to get this through there. And it's doubled up, so we really got to open this hole up here. Go through that way. Unravel itself. That's better.
Oh, so that's why you went through twice.
Pull through there. And then we have our eye, guys. So that is what locks it in place. Now we just have to feed all of this into here. So you can either send one of these up this way and pull it through, or you can try shove this down the middle and push it all through like that. So I'm going to try go that way. So we get this, just choose 2 strands there, and we'll try go down the center, see how this goes. And stay exactly in the center. Okay, that's where we're going to end there. So I'll just poke it through. Just tuck this in here. Let it through. Cool. So now we're just going to taper this end here. Okay, so we've put a taper on the end of this now, so that where the bitter end finishes, it's not just sort of a hard ending anymore. So now with that taper, we can just peel back the layers, and we have an eye splice in our dyneema line. Looks pretty good to me. So this is going to attach to the chain, and then we're going to feed it down through the boat, and we're going to end up having to do the same thing at the rudder end. Okay, we're just going to feed the line through now. So I just tied it onto the control there as a safety. We're going to cut this with the grinder, tape this to it, and feed it down. Alright, that's good, man. We'll do the other side. Oh fuck, okay, this is exactly why we're replacing this cable. This is so frayed. Fuck. Boom. See dyneema. I'm just gonna go straight onto here. And we're on. Let's see it. All clipped in nicely. So now we want to center everything. We want to have the helm in a nice centered position. So we want to have the chain like that, the helm like that. We'll lock it all in place, and then we're playing with the tie bar end only. Okay, so it's on the sprocket. It's got equal lengths. Let's lock this helm off. Okay, so all of the connections of the dyneema at the helm are done. I'm gonna get Tom to go downstairs and he's going to turn the rudder from lock to lock, and we're going to see exactly how much of this cable moves to give us an idea of how far away from the sheaves we have to be. Okay, go Tom. Okay, go again. Okay, so the tie bar is moving that far, so that's about, I don't know, 6 inches or so. So that's how far away we want to be from that sheave. So if we put all of our tensioning gear and everything right in the middle here, we're going to have plenty of space to be away from that sheave. So here we are. This is the stainless steel hard eye going to our line here. So I'm going to put a loop in here. So I'll just put a nice mark, A and B there. I'll measure out the buried end, the buried length of this, and cut this, and then I'll splice it, which you've already seen. So let's roll a time lapse. Okay, so we're just taking our stainless steel eyes off. Of course, this is attached to the tie bar, and then we've just done our splices like you've seen coming from the helm. So now we have to connect the two. So there's a soft eye here and a hard eye here. We are going to do a soft eye splice onto the stainless steel hard eye, and then we're going to do a triple purchase tensioner. So it's going to go back and forth 3 times, and then we're just going to tie this end off. We're going to get this end as tight as possible, tie it off with a whole bunch of half hitches, and then for the final tension we're going to use the tensioning bar. Because we have 2 bitter ends, it's a little bit easier. We don't have to do that inverted loop. We can just thread this through after we've threaded this through. Okay, now we're going to jump back down the holes, reattach the tensioning rod, tie our tensioning line, and then we'll work the rudder back and forth a few times just to try to get everything settled in. Okay, so what do we got? Adjustment bolt, swaged onto the stainless, 3 U-bolts holding a hard eye. Then we got our tensioner here, triple purchase. That's our line coming from the helm, and we have just a succession of half hitches here. So that is already tight enough for sailing. It's not too loose. It's never going to jump out of that sheave there. This is the one that would be the most problematic because it's horizontal. So what we're going to do now is just pre-tension these a little bit. So we'll go all the way to one side. That's at the lock. We'll put a bit of tension on that like that. I'm just here at the sheaves behind the fridge next to the salon door, and when Tom was putting some tension on the wheel, I noticed that our hull is cracked. So got to do another repair here. We've got to take these blocks off and put a big fiberglass pad on this to reinforce it. So the crack is right here. You can see that these bolts are lifting this hull right here, and it's opening up this big crack. Give a little bit more pressure on it. Yeah, okay, stop. I suspect that this damage was done when the bulkheads broke and this whole bridge deck collapsed. All of the weight of that bridge deck ended up being on the old stainless steel cables, and it has damaged the base of these sheaves. Just as I thought, we've got all these spider cracks happening around. This is the bottom side of those sheaves. So I've just checked underneath Dave's boat, my boat, and he's got exactly the same thing, possibly even worse.
Hey, watch your mouth. It's not worse.
It's a common problem, I guess, with these Lagoon 450s that have bent. There's too much force on the sheaves for the steering gear, and it tries to rip them through the deck. There we go, Operation steering cables has come to a halt. We need to repair the base of those sheaves. Boat life, baby. So I've marked where the bolts are so that these sheaves go back in exactly the same angle so that it lines up nicely with the lines. And now I'm going to start grinding. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually get the multi-tool and just cut the resin infusion tube, that spiral tube that they use for infusion. I'm going to cut that straight off so that I've got something nice and flat to glass onto. When we would turn the wheel all the way, hit the lock, and then turn it a little bit more, you could feel, it felt like the line was stretching, but it wasn't the line stretching, it was the sheaves actually trying to rip through the deck and pulling up towards the helm. So really need to sort this out. Sorry Linda, we got to get in there. Linda, we have to get in there. Okay, bye.
I don't mind just doing it. I can.
We've just stopped because I wanted to show you guys this white fiberglass here. It's no longer nice and brown, it's all white. That means it's delaminated. So when these sheaves are getting pulled up, you can clearly see the cracks now. It's cracked all the way along there, and some sort of spider crack looking things down here. So we're going to grind all of this out until we're back to nice brown fiberglass. And then see, look how white that is. That's all delaminated around that bolt hole. So we're going to grind this right down, and then when we lay the glass in there, it'll build it all back up, and it'll have it'll be stronger than original because we're using epoxy as well. Okay, here we go. The first thing we're going to do, so it's all ground really nicely. Nice taper on that. Really thin there, so we're going to build that up first with a few smaller layers. Everything is organized and laid out for us here. So the first thing I'm going to do is wipe it all down with acetone. I'm going to mix everything right here. We're going to glass right there, and hopefully contain the mess to be here. Okay. Okay, so the catalyst has gone in, or the hardener. Okay, we're on. 2. 3. Look at that. So far so good. So I'm going to wet out the whole area. This. Come there. This is where we're going to start going through the resin. Okay, just got the last layer. That's 6 layers of biax with the 3 little pieces underneath. So now we're going to try to put some peel ply on. This can be quite tricky sometimes if it's a difficult shape. So the beauty of this stuff is that it leaves a surface like it has been sanded. So it's a prepped surface, so if anyone wanted to glass on top of this or anything, it's totally ready to go without any grinding. Another advantage is that the amine blush that forms on the top of the epoxy normally now will form on top of the peel ply, so that when you rip the peel ply off, you don't have to wash that blush off. Final advantage would just be how good it looks. You get no hard edges. This is all going to be a smooth finish into our existing glasswork. Morning guys. This pad that we made looks phenomenal. I'm not gonna lie. This is a really good looking bit of fiberglass. Came out perfectly. Hey, oh my god, how dirty are you? Where you been? Oh my god. Linda. Hey McFly. Oh my god. Where's he been? In the trenches?
Running around.
Oh my god.
Good morning.
I hope he doesn't jump on the couch. Boom.
Almost looks professional.
Look at that. There's no way this thing is gonna move again. That is lovely. So we can drill the holes again from the bottom. Now I've got to do a bit of grinding where the cracks were in the gel coat. I'll grind them back, make sure that the fiberglass above it is good. I'm getting a stainless steel plate made up. So the plate's gonna go on the bottom of here and act as the backing plate for all 8 of those bolts. So this is going to be very, very, very strong.